So I love to fit my flanges like this. This is how I two-hole them. That's my style. That's the landing, you know, it's not too big. It's not too small for the 4-inch tees. So everybody has a different way on how to put their tees to their flanges. But I always weld the bullhead first, and I always fit it like this first. That way, I'm able to throw a level on it this way and level it this way. Now, of course, I'm gonna want my fit to be good this way, so I will give myself a gap on the top, tack it, and allow it to pull, allowing the hinge, and that way I can get the fit this way on the flange, I mean on the tee, and then make sure it's level to the flange as well this way. So we'll level the flange this way. Well, you always want to make sure that your flange is two-holed this way, level this way, and then when you go to fit your piece up, you know, it won't be so bad out of level. Some advice for you guys. So always adjust it here first. Get this level. As soon as you get it two-holed, you can get this level, or vice versa. Get this level and then two-hole it, or double check your ass and level it and then two-hole it, okay? And then that fit should be a lot better. So this is what I mean by the gap. Open at the top, closed at the bottom. Once you tack it, so you'll put your spacer in there. See, it's a nice fit. Put your space in there, it'll give you your gap. You tack that top, and then it'll pull the bottom open, and then it'll give us our good fit. But the trick to this here is making sure you're level this way, right, guys? You got to make sure you're level this way to the two-hole, or this isn't going to work out. Okay? Now you can be close, that's a little bit pushing it. I'd always try to make it dead center in that, okay, when you're doing it. Always try to make it dead center before you tack it. Best result. Then we put the spacer in and tack it. This point now gives you a point to look up and down and check out your high-low. Make sure your high-low is good. Make sure your level's good. And if your gap's too big, you can always raise the jack up and it'll kind of close your gap a little bit. Get that perfect fit. Then when you get your perfect fit, put it on 120 amps and let it rip. Now at this point right now, if your tee starts to pull one way or another, you can kind of grab it and try to hold it into place, but it came out perfect. So then you want to remove your spacer, recheck your flange, make sure it's level. It's bumping that line, so it will make that one bump that line, which it is. It's got that perfect gap in the bottom. We'll just go ahead and tack it. At that point then, you can let that jack down just off the line, bam. So that's how you're going to get it level this way to the flange. Now as far as this way, right, just make sure your gap is the same on both sides. If it's not, wedge one side with a wedge and make sure that they're both the same. And at that point, start on the non-wedge side and start welding it out. Your wedge will fall out, hop back on that side and weld that out. Piece of cake. So here's a good shot of how one side's wider than the other. So I'll go ahead and stick a wedge in this side, split the difference to where they're perfectly both the same, and then I'll weld it. All right, now you can see that there's actually an even size gap on both sides. Just took a little tiny wedge and wedged it open. And that should be perfect to sink a bead in there. All right, let me soak my bead. 120 amps. All right, 120 amps. Let's see if I can get one side in with the rest of this rod here. Take my shades off. Side closed up and sunk in there. It all went nice and well. Pull my wedge easily out. Whoops, that's a low hydrogen rod. I don't need that. I need a bead rod. All right, a lot of times I like to grind this hump down. That way I don't land on it. All that was my starting on my last one. Move you guys around, give you a little better shot of some arc. Well, dang it, I forgot to record the bead on this other side, and I had a little hole in there that I fixed. But yeah, there's your bead. So I go into a low hydrogen cap. I don't take all the trash out of there. I leave some trash in there, you know. But when I gotta fill it up with low hydrogen, I try to make it somewhat clean, but look, there's still trash in there. It'll burn it out. So we're now going to a 1/8 at like 134 amps. That was one 1/8 inch rod. $137 amps. I got all the way halfway around it actually. Oh yeah, looks good. All right, let me hit that start real quick with the grinder, just to be safe always. Look good too, man. You can always tell when you burn it, when you cut into porosity, you'll see it, but you know, if you don't have it there, it's not there. All right, should be able to get the rest of the way around this. And a lot of the times what I like to do is buff it right where I started. I guess I should have showed it before and after for the slag on it, but what I like to do is I'll start, and then if I have enough rod, I'll start to cap it, and that really helps me out because then on my restart is like a perfect start. So yeah, I'll show you plenty more to go, but right now I'm going to just continue to weld this out and cap this 1/8 rod, 137 amps. right, I got all the way around it and I started capping it, but you know, 137 amps, just a little bit too hot to throw a cap on there. That's more hot pass status, where I'm trying to burn all that trash you saw out. So now actually what I'll try to do is just turn it down a little bit, like around 130, to give it a good presentation for a cap. Now I'm going to show you what this looks like before I buff it off. So that's what it looked like after I buffed it off. This is what it looks like before you buff it off. Now that's a hot fill, basically a hot pass and a fill all at once, and then it looks like that. And then I will cap over it just like that. So you always want to try to keep it tight, so that way when you come back with your next rod, this is a 332, but take for an example, an 1/8 inch rod is really gonna flush this out really nice and make a real nice presentable cap. That's actually ready to pill, see? And so there's the pass below it. Oh, I got a little on me up here. All right, I'll buff it with the wheel and then I'll cap it. So here you go. You can see how the cap started coming out as I started capping it. I like really low profile caps. That'd be a perfect cap for me. For a 4-inch standard, you know. Fill in hot pass with 1/8. Now I could use 5 to speed up the time, but I'm getting around half of it with a 1/8. I'll just stick to them. Now the restart has always been like my favorite, because you got to get a good restart. So a lot of times you can start with 2 hands, but try to get it quick with starting with that 1 hand and laying it on there. Yeah, I'm losing current somewhere. Fucking quick connect. I don't like it, so I don't roll with them. Need all that juice. I don't need a current being broke. Current's being broke. Maybe I need to turn it up. Try to turn it up one last time. We're right back where we were, 137 amps. I don't like it. It splatters too much at that heat. Okay, maybe it just needs to be turned up. Actually, it burns good.